everyone. So today's recipe is beef barbacoa. Before we get started, I want to share with you the holy grail of the recipe. There are these Chipotle peppers. Now these are extremely important to the recipe. The brand is not, but I just wanted to share this with you because you find these on the Mexican aisle in a regular grocery store. I buy mine at Walmart, the Super Walmart grocery. They always have a ton. And you're going to need these Chipotle peppers and Chipotle sauce. Now the sauce I only find usually in this brand. So I always just grab this brand. But if you have Chipotles already in your pantry and it's a different brand, they're all the same, so just use it. On a spicy level from 1 to 10, I would say it's about a 5, but I like spicy food. So if you're not into spicy food, maybe you just add a little bit of this, the Chipotle peppers that cook in the crock pot all day, and then at the very end, add maybe a half of this. It's not gonna be as flavorful, but like I said, if you're kind of worried about it being spicy, that might be a way to cut back. Anyways, I am so excited for you to try this. It's so juicy and tender. And oh, I wanted to tell you, it is an 8-hour crock pot recipe. So you can leave it in the crock pot all day and go about your day, or you can do it at night before you go to bed. Let it cook all night, and in the morning when you get up, just finish the rest of it. Or before you go to work, and when you get back, you just, again, finish the rest of it. I made tacos with mine, but you can make burritos, tostadas, anything. It's so delicious. I can't say enough. You're gonna love it. And one last thing, I made this recipe just from getting bored of all my other taco recipes I had, and I had these in my pantry, and my husband loves this Chipotle flavor, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this. So that's what I ended up doing, and it came out so delicious. It's one of our favorite recipes, so I hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. A detailed list of ingredients are listed below in the comments section. First, you're going to start with pre-seasoning the meat. You're going to add 2 tablespoons of oil. You can use any type of oil, olive oil, canola oil, or vegetable oil. You're going to put your heat on low, and then we're going to place the meat on top of this. And this is going to be lightly warmed oil. And if you're not comfortable, you can do this on a cutting board before you add it to the pan. It's not hot, but like I said, if you're not comfortable. So now we're going to add the salt, and I use this Goya salt, but you can use garlic pepper if you have that, or just garlic powder. This has a lot of garlic in it, so that's why I use it. And then I'm using coarse black pepper. And again, you can use any type of pepper for this. Flip it over and season the other side, and you want to rub this oil in really well. And again, the heat is still on low, so rub it in really well. And now you're going to sear this for 3 to 4 minutes on each side. And it should be like a light golden brown color because we're just searing it quickly to hold all the juice and flavor inside. Next, we're going to prepare our crock pot. So you're going to bring your crock pot over to where your pan is. Add your meat in. And then we're going to start adding all the ingredients. Here's the Chipotle peppers that I was mentioning. And again, if you don't like things spicy, just use a couple peppers in there, maybe 2 peppers. And then after this, we're going to add the onion. Now, the onion I already had pre-cut, so I had it in a bag, but just use a 1/4 cup in big chunks because you're going to be taking it out. Now we're gonna add 1 cup of this cola. You can use any cola. A 1/4 cup of apple cider vinegar, and this is the acids will break down the meat and make it really tender. You won't be able to taste vinegar at all, I promise. This is so good in roast. And then 1 cup of this beef broth. And this is again what I buy. You can use generic or any type of beef broth. And 3 teaspoons of minced garlic or 3 garlic cloves chopped. And I put a picture here on the minced garlic. I just get a big one at Costco, but I mean, there's minced garlic everywhere, so. Okay, and next we are going to be adding cumin. This is purchased at Target, but there's cumin at every grocery store. I love this El Guapo Mexican flavor seasonings, and they have these at only particular stores. Some of the grocery stores don't carry those, but they're usually in the back on a rack, all the Mexican spices. Now here I'm adding 1 tablespoon of oregano. And 3 bay leaves. Some kosher salt over the top. You can use regular table salt. And then you're gonna mix this really well, and it doesn't have to be covered with the juice. This is gonna create a ton of juice when it cooks. You'll see at the end of it how much juice it's gonna create. Just make sure it's mixed in really well and all of those flavors are kind of soaking in the broth. And now you're gonna cover it and set the crock pot for 6 hours on low. And if you leave for work, you can leave this on low for 10 hours. It's just gonna shred even easier. So it doesn't really make a difference if you leave that setting instead of doing, after the 6 hours, I do 2 hours on high. And this is what it looks like. And now we're going to start shredding it inside of here. I'm just pulling everything apart with a fork. I use the tongs to kind of hold it while I pull it off. I mean, you can shred it however you feel comfortable. And I'm going to continue to do this as much as I can in this pot. And then after this, we're going to move it over back into the skillet. So just keep doing this, pulling it apart. I love this recipe. It's so good. I'm so excited for you guys to try this. I'm taking out the bay leaves out of here. So you don't want to get that in your meal. So there's just 3, so it should be easy to fish out those bay leaves. So now we're going to take the crock pot over to the skillet. You don't put the heat on just yet. We're going to just dump all of the goodness back into this skillet. Just be careful, it's going to be a little bit heavy. And slowly pour it in there so it doesn't splash everywhere. And now you're going to start adding in all of the ingredients. So I used almost all of the can of sauce, but I left just a little bit so I can mix it with some sour cream to put on the tacos. And now I'm going to continue to shred. Now you're going to place the heat on medium high, because you want all of the juice to start absorbing into the meat. And honestly, when it's really warm, it tends to break up a lot easier. And then what I do with the tongs is I crush and chop the chipotle peppers in there. And I'm removing the onions. I don't like big chunks of onion because we do a lot of tacos with the meat. But if you love onion, they're mainly there just for the flavor. But if you love onion, you can leave them in there. I prefer to take them out. And again, it's just going to keep cooking, absorbing all that juice on medium-high heat. And we're going to cook this about 15 minutes. You'll see it boiling and absorbing as it cooks. So after that, we're going to add a 1/4 cup of the chopped cilantro. And what I do is I pre-chop my cilantro if I'm using it for a few dishes. So I have it pre-cut, and it's just chunk cuts. This is not diced small. It's not for the top of the taco. So it's okay if these are the ends of the leaves and they're a little bit larger. And now I'm mixing this in. And this, I'm gonna lower the heat to a medium heat and let the cilantro flavors seep into the roast for another 8 minutes on medium heat. So this is gonna cook, continue to cook. And then when you're done, you need to cut 2 limes and squeeze the 2 limes over the top of it before you start serving this, whatever you're going to make. Like I said, you can even do a burrito bowl. So here's the 2 limes just to remind you. And this is it. This is done. It's so good. Now I'm going to show you how I prepare my tacos. You don't have to do it, but I wanted to show you. I just get those small street-sized tortillas and lightly warm them. And you can get any brand. Now I'm adding my meat, and you can see if you look in the pan, the meat, the juice absorbed. And why I do that is because I do not like my tacos to get soggy. So this is the sour cream I was telling you about. See how it's a little brown? It's because I poured the chipotle sauce in there. Now I'm adding the tomatoes and cilantro. Next, we're going to do avocado. And you can put anything on your tacos. You don't have to do what I'm doing. This is what I had, so this is how I'm preparing it. Now I'm adding olives. And then we're topping it with some cheddar cheese. And you can use any type of cheese, jack cheese, or that crumbled Mexican cheese. I forget the name of it. Anyways, voila, this is done. Thank you guys so much for watching, and if you haven't seen it, there's a rice recipe. It's delicious, so make sure you check that out. Thanks again.